It's the Ugly American Werewolf in London Rock Podcast with your hosts, the Wolf and Action Jackson, who are keeping rock alive by talking classic rock, hard rock, progressive rock, heavy metal, 80s music, early MTV, UK vs. US chart success, and much more. This is the home of classic album and live concert reviews and your place for interviews with artists and legends. You're rocking with the Wolf. Hey out there, rock and rollers. Welcome to episode number 207 of the Ugly American Werewolf in London Rock Podcast. Brought to you by me, your host, Mac B. the Wolf, and I will be joined, as always, by my partner in crime from the East Coast of the United States of America, Mr. Gary Action Jackson. And we want to thank everyone for tuning in last week to our take on Jimmy Page and Robert Plant's No Quarter, the reunion they had in the mid-90s, which gave them the chance to rework a lot of Zeppelin classics, break out a little acoustic rock, and kind of change up and modernize some of their songs, which is also an excuse for them to go on the road, make another album together, and do another tour. It was big for us when we lived together in college, and as it was turning 30, we thought we'd celebrate it. If you haven't heard that one, please check it out. But this week, we know a lot of people had a lot of anxiety around the recent election. I think most people were just kind of sick of it, to be honest with you, because it's dominating the news. It's dominating what people are talking and thinking about. It's getting people mad on both sides as far as who's going to win, who they think's going to win, who's saying what, all that kind of stuff. And I think at the end of it, we were just glad that it's over. Like, thank God that's over with. The person you voted for may have won. They may have lost. You may be happy. You may be depressed. But the bottom line is, it's time to move on. We know what's going to happen now. No more election ads, no more yard signs, and we can go on to do what is best for the country, which is keep rock alive. People should be out making music, they should be going to see live music, and we do our best to keep rock alive by talking about historic artists, historic albums, historic concerts, and stuff that we love. And in January of 2009, there was a bit of an historic concert built around the inauguration of Barack Obama. It was called the We Are One concert, and it featured a lot of legendary artists, including the likes of Bruce Springsteen and U2, Pete Seeger, John Legend, Jon Bon Jovi, Shakira, Beyonce, James Taylor. We go into all of it here on the show, but it was really kind of a big celebration at the Lincoln Memorial that had some speeches interspersed by famous performers and actors, one of which was Forest Whitaker. And his daughter, Autumn, has been on our show before. She came on 2 years ago to talk about Gentle Giant's album Octopus as it was turning 50. And Autumn is kind of a free spirit. She's a fun person to talk to. She's very bubbly. She's kind of silly. She's kind of a weirdo. But she is a musician. And she has a great love of music. And she was in attendance that day as Forrest was giving a speech. And we were going to have her on First Concert Memories to talk about the first time she saw one of her favorite bands. And she started mentioning bands that we'd already talked about on the show. I said, we've already done a Bruce Springsteen First Concert Memories. She's like, well, I can tell you about the time he offered me a pick and I turned him down. I said, okay, well, that might be a story. And then she told me the background. I was like, yeah, we were backstage at this thing for Barack Obama, and there's all sorts of people back there. Don't worry, she tells the story on the show, and we're going to get into that. But I said, all right, that's not a story we're going to hear every day on the show. And though this is not a political show, and we do not advocate for either side, like I said, what we're happy about is that the election is over. But this is an election kind of related story about a concert with a lot of people who you know and some funny stories there around. Now, her memory's a little hazy. She was just a teenager at the time. She went to a lot of events that week. So we try to keep her on track there. But it's kind of fun. When I heard the story, I knew that some other people would find it interesting, and that's why we had her on the show. But first, we do have a little business to take care of. We always like to mention we are proud members of the Pantheon Podcast family and that they are doing a bit of a raise. There is an opportunity to buy into Pantheon Pods. You can find more information on it, pantheonpodcast.com, or on socials at Pantheon Pods. And of course, as the holidays are nearing, folks, you got to get familiar with our sponsor, rarevinyl.com. And although they are based in the UK, they ship all around the world. With over 250,000 items in stock, they procure items from everywhere and they ship everywhere. So if you're like me, not only do you need to get presents for your loved ones, but you need to get some stuff for yourself. And then give it to your wife or your children and say, hey, wrap this up and put to daddy on it so I'll get it. That's the way I do it. It makes sure I get what I want. If you go to rarevinyl.com and use the code UGLY, you can save yourself 10% off one entire order. Not just one item, but one entire order. So get stuff for your eccentric uncle, get stuff for the kids, get something for your best buddy, but also get some stuff for yourself. Use code UGLY and save yourself a big fat 10% off the entire order. Your record collection will thank you. Okay, now back to Autumn. Just a fun spirit, great energy, and someone with some interesting stories given who her parents are and how she grew up. So we're going to jump into it here. We're talking with Autumn Whitaker about the We Are One concert in January of 2009 in Washington, D.C., here on The Wolf. How are you doing?
I'm good. Finally, after having like a wackadoodle kind of time in life. Yeah. Things are like normal again.
Well, that's good. You seem your happy yet kind of off-kilter kind of self.
Okay, good. And I'm glad. How are you guys? What's been going on?
Doing all right.
Yeah, moved back to the States.
Okay.
Have you been making more music? Have you been playing out at all?
No, Right now, I've been doing occult writing and like occult research. I am going into the studio in February, but should be practicing and like arranging already. But like I have ADHD, so I'll get there in January.
Fair enough. Yeah. Anything I have to do in February, I'm not worried about it right now. That's for sure.
Not at all.
So we're just happy to see you. I mean, it's literally been 2 years.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Since Octopus.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was our 101st or 102nd show, something like that. And now we're over 200 here. I was living in a basement in Amsterdam, at least recording at that time. So things change.
Yes, for the better, obviously.
Yes. Well, there's pluses and minuses to living in Europe versus the United States, but
yes, yeah.
But we just, we love your spirit. We love your attitude.
Thank you.
You kind of changed the vibe of the ugly American Werewolf in London, but we're willing to kind of let that slide.
I'm sorry, I'm not on brand for you guys.
Yeah, well, we don't judge people. You're not ugly. Maybe that's not your fault. We're not going to rake you over the coals for it. But, as we're recording this, it is election night in America.
Know. So crazy.
Crazy night. And we were talking about maybe getting you on our first Concert Memories series, which is our monthly, when you talk about, a special night in your life when you saw a particular band. And you named a couple bands that we've already had people on to talk about those bands. Let's find something else. And then you mentioned something about James Taylor and you're hanging out with James Taylor and Bruce Springsteen. I'm like, okay, that sounds like an incredible story. And not everybody has a story like that, right?
Great. Okay, good.
So I'm like, all right, well, this is a rock story we really like to hear. So I would love it if you could give us a little background on it. I believe it was January 18th, 2009.
Okay, it was 2009. I got the year wrong. I was trying to remember that. It was 2009, January 18th. I remember, I think, all the festivities and whatever went on for a week because it was in DC and I spent my birthday there. I'm born on the 24th. So I remember that. And I think Obama was inaugurated on the 22nd or the 21st.
Something like that.
Consult the Oracle, to fact check it. But he was either inaugurated on the 20th to the 22nd between those days. But it was crazy. It was, to me, I was born in Massachusetts. I grew up on the East when I was younger. But to me, DC is the coldest of the East Coast.
Oh, yeah?
Even more than Massachusetts. Something about DC cold, it's so cold, my skin starts cracking. And at the time, I was still a cigarette smoker, so that's probably why. But I just remember being outside of the hotel, just how do people live like this? I feel I want to peel my skin off. It's so freaking cold out here. But yeah, it was so cold. The winter in January.
Okay, well, so let's back up just a minute.
Okay,
this is around Barack Obama's inauguration.
This is his inauguration, yes.
And there's a celebration. It's called We Are One. It was a celebration at the Lincoln Memorial.
Yes, at the Lincoln Memorial. You're bringing it all back. At the Lincoln Memorial. I don't remember if Bono played, but he was backstage at one point.
Right.
And my sister and I were playing Truth or Dare. And so we kept daring each other to tap Bono on the back. So we would tap Bono on the back and then he would look behind him and we would hide. So we were we were torturing Bono for a little bit. So the first person I met when I was like backstage in the green tent was Jack Black and the official like American Eagle, like this huge bird.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in this tent. There's like all these people, and there's just like Jack Black like holding an eagle. And so I was like, okay, this is a good start like to the week. Like that's a pretty awesome image. And he's like laughing. My parents are talking to him. And so Bruce Springsteen, Jon Bon Jovi. I'm trying to remember who else.
I can give you the name. I can read them all out for you. Okay.
Okay.
So because there were speakers too, right?
There were speakers as well.
And Jack Black is one of the speakers, but
yes.
I mean, so it kind of, this was the, it went, I guess I could kind of do it in order, but Denzel Washington,
yes.
Bruce Springsteen, yes. Laura Linney and Martin Luther King III, yes. Mary J. Blige was there. Jimmy Foxx and Steve Carell, Betty LaVette, Jon Bon Jovi,
yes.
Tom Hanks, Marissa Tomei, James Taylor, John Legend.
Yeah.
Of course, Joe Biden was there, John Mellencamp.
Joe Biden. Yes, John Mellencamp. I remember his set like the most for some reason.
Really?
I don't know why. I'm not even a John Mellencamp fan. He was very like powerful, like really just like getting everyone going.
I mean, a lot of power. I mean, Garth Brooks, power. Mariah
yes.
Carey,
Garth
Cheryl
Brooks.
Crow,
yes.
U2, James Taylor,
yes.
Stevie Wonder,
Stevie Wonder.
John Legend, Shakira. I mean, this is...
It was pretty
It's
crazy.
so cool. And then after, because, the Bush, it's like you're going to have country people or you're going to have like old white people. It's like, finally, we get someone who's going to have some fun, Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's why like the parties were so fun. And like my parents were good friends with Mary, Jay, Stevie and stuff. So seeing them, like we all came together. So I was like already with them. So they were just like normal people to me. And I'm kidding. But like I wasn't like acting like when I saw Jack Black, I was like, whoa, like, you know, because I love, like, I grew up listening to Tenacious D. So I was just like, this is so cool. And the Tenacious D movie is like one of my favorite movies.
Yes, The Pick of Destiny. Now, weren't you a teenager at this time? And were you like 16, 17 or something?
16.
Yeah.
I was 16 years old, yeah. And my parents would bring me though. Like that's why I missed a lot of school and I'm horrible at math.
Yeah.
My parents, they would bring me with them.
You can't do math, but you can tell us the story. So that's awesome.
That's all that matters.
For real. It's like I'm not a mathematician. I don't need that. No. So yeah, Jack Black, I was just like, whoa, wow, there's this eagle. And so I want to get his name right. Pete Seeger's nephew. I'm pretty sure his name is Diego.
Okay.
I think so. I think it's Diego, but it was Pete Seeger and his nephew.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm remembering as Diego. I just remember his name was like something that you wouldn't like be like, oh, that's like Pete Seeger's nephew. Like it was something like very like, oh my God, you're like
different than
like, from the same family. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But that's his nephew. But so he came in and we bonded right away because he walked in with this like beautiful 12 string. So I was like, oh my God, that's fun. I was kind of bored in the back and like, because my parents were just like schmoozing and stuff. So I sat down and we were talking and I was just like, yeah, like, can I play that? I only know how to play two things, All My Love by Led Zeppelin and Tangerine by Led Zeppelin.
Yes, I know how to play that too. Yes, one of the few songs I can play.
Everyone, like the guitar dude song, So I was like, let me just bust out like Tangerine and play this right now.
Sweet.
So I was playing for him, and as I was playing, Pete Seeger comes, and he sits down next to me. And I knew who he was because for some reason I was obsessed with that song, like Abba Yo-Yo, not even as a kid, but as an adult, just like the melody. I just love Pete Seeger is just really good with like beautiful, simple, like melodies are also like impactful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was just like, whoa, like Pete Seeger is like sitting next to me. This is so freaking cool. And so like my parents are watching and they're just like, oh my God, like, yeah, she just like plays guitar all day in her room. So this is like perfect for her. So I was like living it up.
So when you're at this point in time, you're waiting for this thing to start. Right.
Yeah,
this is all behind. This is in like the green room. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, this is the green room. So this was probably when the speakers, because I couldn't tell you who the speakers were because anytime like a music act would stop, I would just go back to the green room. Or like I'd go to the sidewalk to like smoke a cigarette. Like I just wasn't around. So it was probably during a speaker. So we're just in the back, like fooling around. Pete Seeger's there. We're talking. He invited me to his birthday at the time, but rest in peace. He invited, I think it was his last birthday before he died too. He invited me and my parents. And so we were talking for a bit. And then I think it was time for okay, so no, I'm skipping a little. Okay.
Okay.
So this is before Bruce Springsteen went on stage and like the big acts went on. So Bruce comes in the back, and before he comes in, like all the security is like already there and like all the little like green room people. So he comes in and Jon Bon Jovi comes in but kind of stands to the side. Okay. So like I'm already like I've been a huge fan of the Boss like pretty much my whole life. I love Bruce Springsteen. So immediately like I clocked him and I just like froze and I was like, oh my God, like I want to hide because I'm so afraid of not looking cool to Bruce Springsteen. I was like 16, but I was just so worried about looking cool to him because he was my freaking hero. So I was just like, okay, noted. Like Bruce Springsteen's in the building.
Yeah.
So I kind of just let it go because I was like, I want to be cool. Like I don't want him to think like I'm like
stalker,
crazy for him. Yeah, just like, oh my God, Bruce, like one of those Beatles girls,
Yeah.
I was just like, whatever. I'm just gonna act like just any other guy just walked in his head. So so me and Diego start talking again.
By the way, his name is Tao.
It's Tao.
Yes, Tao Rodriguez Seeger.
Tao. Okay, Tao Rodriguez. Wow, Diego. Sorry, Tao, if you ever listen to this. But Tao. So we're talking. Then we get to like me playing All My Love by Led Zeppelin. So I'm playing that, and again, like I pushed out of my mind that like Bruce Springsteen's in this tent.
Good for you.
So I'm playing, Tao's playing too, but then I noticed like as we're playing, he stops, and I just like keep going. And then while I was playing, there was like a crowd in front of us, and so like while I'm playing, I looked down and I noticed like people kind of like dissipated, but there was one pair of feet in front of me. But I was just like, whatever. I have stage fright in general, so I'm not going to look up. Because then everything's gonna be messed up, right. Like I'm trying to think of did you ever see the movie like Mystery Men?
I don't think I did. You, Jackson?
Yeah, but it was a while
With
ago.
Like Ben Stiller. Okay. Well, there's a superhero in that movie where like his powers only work when nobody's looking. And if you like look at him, everything like sets up.
Gotcha.
So like that's how I felt then. So I was just like, whatever, like, let me just focus. And so then I hear like a man say, hey, do you want to pick? And I never played with picks, just ever. It always felt weird to me.
Okay.
So, while I'm playing, I go, no, I'm okay. And then I hear everyone start laughing. And I remember I stopped and went like that, and I looked up, and it was freaking Bruce Springsteen.
Oh
and I just am like, oh my God. And then he starts laughing, and he's like, no, it's okay. Like, you're so good, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh my God. And my dad, I used to have a video of that moment on my first Facebook. My dad might have it on like a computer somewhere, but there was a photo of Bruce Springsteen in front of me going like this, and I'm like looking down. It's really crazy, but
that's so cool.
It was so insane. Like I was like in shock. I felt like I couldn't speak, honestly, after. Like, I just remember being like nonverbal, just like following my parents. And so then after, like, we're talking, he's like, hi, I'm Bruce. And I'm just like,
You're like, duh. I
know who you are. Yeah. Like, you don't need to say anything to me. And then, like, I call this moment the night me and Bruce Springsteen snubbed Jon Bon Jovi.
Oh, yeah.
So, as Bruce Springsteen and I were talking, like, laughing, Jon Bon Jovi comes up because my dad is next to us, and he looks at me and says, hi. And because I'm like so enamored by Bruce Springsteen, I look at him and just go, hey, and then turn back. And
So
we all
awesome.
just forget about Jon Bon Jovi.
Okay, but to be fair, though, I mean, really, Bon Jovi is pretty famous, but
Right?
Bruce is just on
Bruce
a whole nother
Springsteen,
level. Sorry.
yeah. It was just, I had to. I was like, sorry, Jon Bon Jovi. Like,
Good for
Hi,
you.
I'm John. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, guy, like, get out of the way.
Okay, yeah. Go back to the Runaways, John. I'm busy.
Right?
Hi, my name's Stefan Shirazi from the Metallica Report, and you're listening to the Ugly American Werewolf in London.
And then we all, so we walk out the tent after snubbing Jon Bon Jovi. We collect ourselves and we leave the tent. And so I'm trying to remember the order of this. Okay, so as we're walking as we're walking out, James Taylor and his wife are walking up to us. And so, like, of course, James Taylor says hi to my dad. And so I notice his eye, and I have a weird thing. I mean, I'm an occult writer. I'm into spooky stuff. And like, I'm into just old ocularist tools, like fake eyes, things like that. So I notice, I look at him and his eye, I'll try to describe this. So where the whites of your eyes are, his eyes were blood red, the color of this chair.
Goodness.
All red. His pupil was completely green from like infection.
Oh.
It was so crazy, but he almost looked like a weird like reptilian. So I walked up to him and I was like, what happened to your eye? And he like looked at me and like smiled, and he was like, one night, like I don't know if it was after a show or after rehearsal, but he came back, it was late, all the lights were off in his room, and I guess he had like a wooden, just like old 4-poster bed. And so he didn't remember he left a guitar case by the foot of the bed. So like he was trying to just like fall into bed, you know, just like walk into his room. He goes like this to kind of jump into bed, hits the guitar case, lands eye first into the corner of the 4-poster bed.
Oh no.
Just
JT.
so literally. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. And his cornea got detached, but they were able to put it back. No, it was so insane. That's why his eye looks like a reptilian, though. Like that was like the stitches and like crazy stuff.
Okay.
I know. It was so weird, but I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, thanks for telling me that, James Taylor. And he was just like, yeah. And then he like kept talking to my dad. So that was my moment with James Taylor.
Well, see, that must be what it's like to be with famous people all the time, because, you know, for the folks who aren't around them, as soon as you get to be a famous person, oh, hi, how are you? Oh, I love your work, and da-da-da-da-da-da. But when you're around them all the time, you see them in day-to-day circumstances, like, hey, you know, that's a pretty good parallel parking job you did there, Jon Bon Jovi, or, you know,
like Jon Bon Jovi. Exactly.
This is a very nice salad you tossed, Denzel Washington. You know, for us, you know, we'd be like starstruck, but for you, you're like, yeah, so why is your eye all fucked up there, James? You know,
I was like, what's wrong with your eye? Like, I just like looked at him. So I couldn't stop. Like, it was so intense. And oh, okay, so I kind of messed up a detail. So he had an eye patch. I actually asked him to remove the eye patch.
Goodness, you're a bold teenager.
Yeah, right?
Good Lord.
And he was like fascinated by how fascinated I was. Because I was just like, that's insane. Like, that's crazy. And like his wife was like, yeah, he does stuff like that all the time. Like, he's always just like walking into things. I was just like, oh, she's so casual. I know, she was so casual about it. Like, it's just another Tuesday.
Well, you got to figure that probably the eye patch was not a fashion accessory. Something was going on under the patch.
Yeah, it was one of those like medical ones, not like a cool like Bowie one. Yeah. It was like the one they like medical tape.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. And I feel bad. I'm like, I literally made him like peel it off and like show it to me. You know, like when you're little, can you like see like a weird person at like a carnival or something? You're like, can I see the magic eye?
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I need to see James Taylor's magic eye. So he showed it to me. It was cool. But I'm trying to think. So after that, yeah, I saw James Taylor's eye. So we went back to like the stage area, but kind of behind. And that's where my sister and I were playing the Truth or Dare. Like, let's troll different celebrities who walk by. And for some reason, like Bono was really our target. Like every idea we had, because his reaction was just so like, he just really didn't notice we were there. Like, we were just so fascinated. We're like, there's no way. He just thinks like an apparition or like some spirit or something is like tapping him, but we were doing it.
Is he just as tall as you are? Is he about the same height?
He's a little, I'm trying to think. So I'm 5'5".
Mm-hmm.
He has to be 5'7".
Okay.
And he was wearing boots, not to out Bono. Sorry, Bono. He was wearing a little, like Al Pacino style, like a little boot.
No, because a friend of mine, she's like 5'10" or 11, and she bumped into him like an art gallery in Europe somewhere, you know, and it's like, and this little man saunters up to me because she's got 3 or 4 inches on the guy, you know. It's like, oh, that's Bono, yeah.
Well, he is tiny. Like, it's weird because his voice, and also because like U2 stadium shows are just all about like panorama crazy screen.
Spectacle,
You're just
right?
you're used to seeing him like blown up on the screen with like his little leather jacket and like glasses. But no, he's very small.
Yeah.
He's small enough to like be able to easily tap him.
Yeah. And they played Pride in the Name of Love. Not a huge surprise there, but also City of Blinding Lights. So
City of Blinding Lights. For some reason, that's like my favorite song secretly. Because I remember when they dropped that, I was just like, okay, I love this.
Well, the secret's out now, Autumn. I'm putting this out.
Right? I'm like,
week,
oh no! No, I know the secret's out. But they were amazing. I'm trying to see who else. I had a great time seeing U2 play.
26 years ago, Dr. King had a dream. On Tuesday, that dream comes to pass.
Because for most of the performances, unless it was Bruce Springsteen or James Taylor, like I was in the back or just like running around. And I'm also trying not to mix up my memories with the Kennedy Center honors because they were kind of
right. Yeah.
So I'm trying to like separate that. So I had the James Taylor moment. I'm trying to think.
I did send you a Wikipedia link that kind of showed the order. If that
the order.
Helps.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't do my homework. I know the Kennedy Honors was after, but I'm trying to think. I have like a Chris Christopherson moment, but then it might have been from when I was going to the Kennedy Center Honors, but I'll say it anyway. Okay. I don't think he was at the inauguration.
Nope, he wasn't, but that doesn't matter.
I was the Kennedy Center Honors. Okay. But we were sitting on the plane together to DC and on the way back. And on the way there, because I have really bad carpal tunnel. And at the time, like my flare-ups were so bad, I had to wear wrist braces on both hands. So when I sat down, again, I didn't really know, like Chris Christopherson fans, I didn't really know who he was.
Okay, yeah.
Like I really didn't. I knew his voice, but like for some reason, like I didn't really know his face.
I'd say most teenagers in 2009 didn't know who Chris Christopherson was.
I don't know, had Blade come out yet?
Yeah, you might have known him from Blade, right? Wesley Snipes.
Yes,
picture,
I was going to say from a movie. Yes, but like I didn't really connect it. So in my mind, I was just sitting next to like a really cool old dude, who like was friends with my dad. So like him and my dad are talking, and then he looks over and we look at each other. He also has matching wrist braces. He was like, "You're too young to have like carpal tunnel. Like, do you have that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." It doesn't discriminate.
That's right. It doesn't.
But that was my moment with him. I'm trying to think what else. Because
Beyonce closed it. I mean, did you see Queen Bey?
Beyonce, not then. I met her in Jamaica, though, before, like a few months before that. She's stunning in person. Like, she's so hot. Like, she's everything she says she is. Yeah. She's so like naturally, like she looks really young in person because with all her makeup and like her hair, everything, like she looks like super young, like 10 years younger than she actually is. Like gorgeous skin, like she's so hot.
Because I know I'm in the minority here, but I still think Kelly Rowland is hotter than she is.
Are you serious?
I know.
Oh, no, like her.
But I'm sorry. I like Kelly. I think she's beautiful, and I always have. So
Kelly is hot. Kelly's hot. I think Beyonce, like she's more like conventionally hot because she leads with sex. So I feel like that's what people pick up on, and at least like that's why I find her just like fascinating, almost in like an alien way. Because just watching her like on stage and like how like almost like mechanical, but then like powerful she is. She's just fascinating for me to watch. Yeah,
powerful
Kelly
woman.
Rowland's pretty too. She's cute too.
Oh, I love her.
Can't we all be friends?
Right, I know. Why can't we be friends?
Right.
Okay, so let's see who else was there. All right, so Tiger Woods was there. Did he hit on you at all? Try to get your number?
Right? I'm trying to think, like, Tiger? No, I have no memories of Tiger. Thank God.
Wait, just out of curiosity, what did he do? Was he practicing chipping, or how did he?
He gave a speech dedicated to the armed forces.
Oh, keep your left.
Oh, you asked what did he do there? I was like, he cheated, guys.
A lot.
I'm like, oh, I forgot he does other things.
He cheated more than he won majors.
Right? He cheated more than he golfed. I think he was a speaker. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He had, obviously, he's not a performer. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm trying to remember everything. Like the most.
He did a speech dedicated to the armed forces. That's what the note here says. So.
Okay.
I just saw him there. I'm like, he saw a pretty young girl. I wonder if he just kind of said, hey, can I get your number?
He wasn't really in the back, surprisingly. Like, mostly the musicians were in the green room. Like, a lot of people, I mean, you're supposed to actually watch the whole, like,
of course,
ceremony. But I feel like all the musicians, like, we were just like, yeah, no, like, we're in the party in the back and like socialize. So I was mostly just like wandering around, like following my parents. I'm trying to remember, I think, because we were with Denzel's family, we were with Stevie's family, we're all kind of rolling together. Okay. So I think I was mostly like hanging with Denzel's daughter, Olivia. And then what else? Because like Bruce Springsteen was really, I was just like, whoa, that was the moment. Like I feel like it's so powerful, it like erased all the other memories. Because again, I'm not trying to mix up my Kennedy Center honor ones because those ones are really fun. So I'm like Bruce Springsteen, James Taylor, John Mellencamp, U2, Queen. No, Queen wasn't there. I'm getting all my weird
Queen wasn't there, but Queen Latifah was.
Queen Latifah, okay. Yeah. Queen Latifah. I'm like, Queen wasn't there, but Queen Latifah was.
There was royalty there, yes.
Better. Like all the days were blurred into one because it was so cold. We had to walk. There's like this crazy tradition where like the president and like the people close and like the artists, like whatever, we have to walk to the Lincoln Memorial. And so
from the White House?
Yeah, like I think so, because it was like a 5-mile walk.
Ooh.
And so I have like hemolytic anemia, so I already feel like I have hypothermia just all the time. So there was one point, I'm pretty sure, yes, this is when Cicely Tyson was alive. Yes. Okay. Because she got me through the bitter cold. Rest in peace, Cicely Tyson.
I love her.
She carried me like literally. There was one point where like I couldn't even feel my feet, and I kept crying and stopping. And like Cicely Tyson, like literally, like I think she was like 80. Like
I was gonna say she's pretty old, yeah.
Like she was already so freaking old. But she grabbed me and she was like, "Come on, baby! Like we're gonna do this, and you're gonna hold my hand, and you're gonna be okay." So I was like, okay, Cicely Tyson. Like when Cicely Tyson tells you you're going to be okay, you're going to
believe her. Yeah.
So I remember I was holding her hand. We were walking all the way there. And then, okay.
There we go.
Party, okay. Now I'm remembering the nights. I'm like, okay. So there was after parties at the White House. And so I'm trying to get my memories together. So I'm pretty sure this is the night. I mean, not to hate. I love Mary Louise Parker. I thought she was cool during this moment, but like some people could hear it and like think I was like talking ill. But I thought she was cool because it was like it had to be like after midnight. Everyone, it's a party at the White House, so everyone's had like, more than a few drinks, And so the women's bathroom, I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Jackie O's bathroom. It was some other first lady. Sorry, the other first ladies. But like, it was some other first lady's like favorite bathroom. Okay. So I'm walking out and like there's this really dramatic staircase to get to there. And so I look up and it's Mary Louise Parker by herself, just like stumbling down the stairs, but like in the best way. Like she was owning that shit. Just like, I'm going to the fucking bathroom. And I'm racing through the White House. And we look at each other and go, hey. And I was just like, oh my God, that was Nancy Botwin, like stumbling down the stairs. That was so cool. So that's something else I'll never forget. Because I was just nice. Like, I love Weeds. That was one of my favorite shows.
Oh, yeah.
So that was so freaking cool. So I was just like, yeah, you're like a Weeds celebrity. Like, right. It's Nancy Botwin. So that was really cool. I'm trying to remember who else, because we were with cool people. Like, I mean, of course, I would remember Bruce Springsteen the most, Of course. But like there were cool political people that we were talking to. Like, I feel bad. I should know that, but I was just like, Bruce Springsteen is so cool. Like, that's all I was thinking.
And this is a music podcast, not a political one. So let's try to focus on that. Right now, at one point, it looks like Shakira, Usher, and Stevie Wonder sang together. I'm like, well, that must have been something else.
Yes, because we met Shakira. Me, my mom, my dad, my sisters, and we were all so fascinated by her. She's another person who's so hot.
Foxy, yes.
Beautiful body. Like, she had her whole, like, stomach out, everything. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, girl, yes, Shakira. Like, she was killing it. Beautiful woman. I'm trying to think. Well, Stevie, because again, like I grew up with him. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was just like, okay, that's Stevie, like the guy who falls asleep after like Christmas on my mom's couch. So I'm just like, I'm with him a lot. But it's always cool with him. And so who else? I'm like, maybe if you list off the
Some
other
more, yeah.
favorites, yeah, I'll start to remember.
Well, I know Lionel Richie. If you see the documentary on The Greatest Night in Pop when they did the We Are the World song,
Yes.
Lionel Richie calls Stevie Wonder a troublemaker because in the middle of it, he's like, I think we need to put a little Swahili in here. Let's say,
Yes.
you know, and they're like, no, look, Stevie, we got to stay focused here, man. We can't like just change it all at the last second.
Change it all.
Let's just stay focused here. I just thought that was funny. Let's see, Garth Brooks.
Yes.
I'm not a huge fan.
He's another, like, randomly, I don't know why my mom connected with him like really hard, but like my mom met him at some other like, gala thing years prior to that. And so him and my mom were really close. So he was another person that I just saw as like, oh, that's my mom's friend.
That's
and
Garth,
like,
yeah.
Hate Garth Brooks. Yeah. You know? So I was just like, whatever, that's Garth Brooks. So with him, I kind of was just like, whatever. Is Steven Tyler on the list or Aerosmith at all?
They are
I don't
not.
see them.
I think he was just, yes, but that reminded me because my mom, that's another one of my mom's like random close friends. Steven Tyler loves my mom, was obsessed with my mom. I'm pretty sure that he probably was at the Kennedy Center Honors, and I'm mixing up the dinners again.
That's okay.
But no, he was obsessed with my mom. Anytime he saw my mom, he would sing I Don't Want to Miss a Thing to her, and they would sing it together. Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, I mean, Forrest did give a speech, I guess, with Ashley Judd. Did you actually watch that one?
Yes, because I'm pretty sure, unless again this was the Kennedy Center Honors, I met her sister too.
Okay.
Winona or whatever, the red hair one.
Right.
But I think now I think it was because of the Merle Haggard honor. But
Okay.
they all go to the same parties like after. But again, my dad was close with Ashley Judd just from work and stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So she was very sweet. I remember she has like this very like soft, just like nurturing tone of voice. So like when she speaks, you just feel like, oh my God, like I feel so safe with this person. Like there's something about the tone of her voice.
That's cool.
I remember that.
Hi, this is Oliver Wakeman, and you're listening to the Ugly American Werewolf in London.
Well, it sounds like a pretty amazing night, but
Yeah.
it sounds like it's not that off the beaten path for you and your family to kind of mix with some amazing folks and to have some crazy party nights. I mean, that's kind of, for my friends in the entertainment industry, they're like, there's a lot more hanging out and schmoozing than there is work sometimes, you know what I
There's
mean?
work, and that's where that's networking comes from, and that's where I've met people. Because again, like a lot of the actors or just like anyone in entertainment that I met, because like I grew up on set like with my dad, I would just walk up to them like they were just like a dude in a backyard, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there is something to be said for that though, to have these people in a situation like this where kind of like everybody's famous. So you don't have that like, you know, oh my God, I love
No
you.
one's
And
like,
it's
oh,
like,
I'm scared to talk. Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly. Like you can kind of just be a real person for an evening.
For an evening. But the one person who everyone was starstruck over, even James Taylor, every celebrity, was Bruce Springsteen, the boss. I'm like,
Okay.
he will always be the boss, no matter what room he steps in. But he, for some reason, like everyone was just like, oh my God, like, and then Bruce Springsteen, like you would hear like Jack Black saying that, like any famous person would be like, oh my God, and then Bruce Springsteen just walked by me. And I thought that was so funny because I was like, okay, so he's just like the king to everyone. Like he's just so freaking cool, like to everyone. So I love that.
Except to you, apparently.
Right. To me.
You wouldn't even take his pick. You wouldn't even acknowledge it.
No, because to me, it was just like a man's voice speaking. And that's why when I looked up at him, like I felt like a deer in the headlights. I was just like, and he was laughing because he was
Whatever,
just like,
dude, leave me alone. I'm playing.
I know. He's like, well, I'm Bruce Springsteen. It was so crazy. It was so cool.
But I mean, your father, or Forrest at that point, was acting royalty. I mean, he had won the Academy Award.
He won the Oscar. So people were eating him up too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Jamie had 2 and Denzel had 2 in the years prior. But I mean, Forrest was the most recent kind of Black Academy Award winning actor.
Yes.
Now, I lived his whole career before that, but I mean, it was obviously, look, Jackson and I were teenagers in the 80s. Fast Times at Ridgemont High was the top 5 film, right?
Yep.
But I mean, that's a fun kid kids movie. His role in The Last King of Scotland was powerful. And I mean, he's portraying a real person. And like, obviously Jamie did too. But when you can see somebody and they're channeling this person that you had seen on TV, it's pretty powerful.
And someone like my dad, astrologically, he's a Cancer. So my dad is very sweet. Are you a Cancer too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So my dad's very nerdy. Like he would hate me saying this. He's like, nobody know me. Like that's his Cancer energy. Like I'm shut in. But my dad's very quiet. Like unless you're talking about something he really likes, like my dad's nerd side will come out. He'll just start like nerding out and talking. But my dad's very like reserved. So it was crazy seeing him like that on screen. I didn't watch the full thing because it was scaring me. You know, because my dad wasn't the disciplinarian. Like we would go to him and be like, don't tell mom, or like sneak and like hope he wouldn't go back and be like, the girls asked me if they could do that, you know? It was so weird. Like seeing my dad as the disciplinarian.
But isn't he a black belt or something like that? I mean, he's not a wimpy guy.
Oh no, not physically, but even then, like my dad was really into martial arts. My dad's the reason why I was into fencing. But my dad's not the type of guy who would just like start, like he wouldn't start a fight. You know, my dad's not that. Like he doesn't even swear. Like when he gets mad, like I don't. When I was younger, I would like laugh a little because like even the way he says like fuck, he's like fuck. Like it's so, you're just like you can tell he like never says it. So it's so funny. Like my dad's just not that kind of guy. So it's so interesting.
That is interesting, yeah. And it doesn't seem like Barack Obama's that kind of guy. Although I feel like behind closed doors, if you really made him mad, he could put you in your place. Maybe. Did you get to see him at all that night?
Yeah, I've babysat his kids actually. During one of his, I'm trying to think. It was some event in Hancock Park. It was during his like campaign trail stuff.
Okay.
But I watched his daughters with, I'm trying to get her name right, Catherine Schwarzenegger. Because I went to Archer School for girls. And so I went to school with her and Christina. But Catherine was there because of her mom, Maria Shriver.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's why. But yeah, so she was there. And so I remember that, like us, like coloring with like Sasha and Malia. It was pretty trippy. And Obama's cool. Like he has like cool older brother energy. Like that older brother who just like was cool at all the parties. Like everyone's like, yeah, that guy, he's so cool. And he even like smiles like it. Like he's just like, hey, like, so it was cool. Meeting him the first time was when I babysat his kids. And then the second time was after he got sworn in. And that was so just intense and so cool. Because like, I forget, I'm so bad. I'm like, wow. The president before him is there, right? Yeah. When a president gets sworn in.
That's right.
Okay, so Bush was there. Because I remember we're in the line. And honestly, I mean, I can say this now because I'm an adult. I was 16 then, but I did sneak out, hit the doobie a little bit. You know? Join the festivities.
Proud of you.
You know, I'm like a little bit stoned, just like, whoa, I'm like in the White House and like, I have to be serious right now. So I'm like trying to hold it together. We go into the room. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like the Oval Office room. I feel like so like a bad American. I'm a bad American.
No. That makes you a good American.
You
think Willie Nelson went in there sober?
Yeah,
come on.
Right? I know, literally. I didn't get caught. I'm sure that they knew I was stoned because I remember as soon as we got in the line, we're like, everyone's going up to shake Bush's hand and then you shake Obama's. I was just like, okay, like, is everyone looking at me? And I was like, no, I'm so no one's looking at me. They're looking at freaking Obama. So I'm just like, okay, let me be normal. And so I remember shaking Bush's hand. Not that he has a weak handshake, but he has like a, hey, like his voice, his handshake is like his voice, just like, hey, you know? So I remember that. I took note of that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like he kind of has like a little of a weak handshake. And so then we get to like Obama, and of course, like he's just like strong. Like I just got sworn in as the freaking president.
Check me out,
yeah, like let me shake your hand. And it was so cool. I was just like, wow, this is so awesome. And then I think that's when like the dinner started. And I'm trying to remember who we were sat with, because again, like this was the part of the night where like everyone honestly was stepping out with me and other people to hit joints, do their things, you know, have their fun. So this part of the night gets a little blurry, but that's also like, I think an hour after that, that's when I ran into Nancy Botwin going to the bathroom.
Right.
But after that, it was just dinners, hanging out.
Barack Obama seems to be cool as a cat. He knows music. He knows hoops. You know, it seems like he'd be the coolest guy to just hang out with, you know?
He's so cool, has a great smile. That's what I took note of. Like, I met him twice. Like, each time I met him, I was just like, you have such, like, no wonder you're president. Like, you've such a
charisma. Yeah.
Yeah, it just like beams out of him. Again, we were always in the same group. It was our family, Stevie's family, and Denzel's family. Because, I mean, I can say this with you guys because you guys are like cool white people. But my mom had a habit of like, anytime we were at Crazy Galas, she would always be like, and I adopted this white family and they're going to come with us. So I'm trying to remember the white family my mom adopted to bring with us.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to remember which actor it was. God, it will come to me. But like the adopted white family came with us too. And it had to be like, because my mom would act casual and it would be like, I'm trying to think of an actor who's not casual. I mean, not Al Pacino, but like my mom would like pull someone like Al Pacino out of a corner and be like, oh, I adopted him for the night. And we'd be like, Al Pacino?
Al Pacino?
Someone like that. Do they have the list of actors that were there that night?
Not necessarily. No, not. I mean, well, they only have the people who like spoke at the thing, like, you know, like Sam Jackson and Laura Linney and Marissa Tomei and people like that.
Okay, I know it wasn't Laura Linney's family that we adopted.
Think about it. Have you ever met either of the two candidates who are running for president right now?
I met Joe Biden.
You have met Joe, yeah, but you've never met Donald or Kamala.
I grew up, so I lived in the Trump Towers. I'm trying to get this right. Well, my dad was, I think he was filming Ghost Dog. Okay. I don't know what year that is, but also when I was younger, so I think it was a little before that, because only one of my sisters was born. So I must have been 7 or 8. We lived in the Trump Towers for a little bit while he was filming. And then we stayed at Claire Danes' apartment, like in Soho. But I don't think my parents met Donald Trump. I didn't, because I don't have any memories. I feel like I would remember someone like that. I have no memories of him. My parents knew him. I've met Hillary Clinton before, and I met Bill Clinton before when I was little. But yeah, those are all the presidents I've met.
Yeah. Good for you. But not Kamala Harris, huh?
Not Kamala. I love Kamala. I think she's so funny. I'm obsessed with like the coconut tree energy and the like, I have a Glock meme. I love her. Memes for president always. So I wish I met her. I wish.
If she wins, you know, some prominent, black actors may be invited back.
Maybe invited back. I know, because my dad hasn't been back since, I think, Obama. Yeah. Because it was Republican after him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Obama served 2 terms, but I don't think there was a big party the second time around, right?
No. The second time, I don't know. No, we didn't go. I don't think we went.
Yeah.
I was home. Yeah, because I celebrated my birthday in California. So I was home. But yeah, my dad hasn't been back, I think, to the White House for like presidential events, like swearing-ins and things since Obama.
So maybe that changes in January, or
back for Kamala. Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody does. All right. Well, look, I've had a blast just hanging out with you. I know Jackson plays the same way.
Yeah.
If you got anything to pub or promote or anything for the show we can talk about?
I mean, my book is supposed to come out in December, but that's not music. That's like magic and occult stuff. But yeah.
What's the name of the book?
It's called The Unnatural Within the Natural World.
And where can you get that?
It will be available, well, once I finish my manuscript.
Well, sure, once you're done.
But I have 3 stores who accepted it, but Peculiar Parish Bookshop in London, they will be the first ones to sell it.
Cool.
So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, nothing music until February when I'm done. In the studio, I'm working with, I don't know if you're familiar with the artist Pearl Charles and all.
I don't think so.
She's super cute. I grew up with her, but she is well known in LA. She's touring in London right now. She's amazing. But yeah, she's helping me out in the studio. So we'll see what happens.
You have to understand that we did not grow up in LA and we're old. So
no, I know, but one of her managers is Jeremy, someone from Chrysalis Records. So like, She plays with older guys. She knows the old guys, you know, her, you might not remember. Yeah, that's Jethro Tull. That's Gentle Giants. Like all the kings of Prague were on Chrysalis.
Ah, gotcha.
They're not now. I know they do like movie scores and contemporary jazz now, and they are trying to venture back out into like indie artists, but I wish they were still a Prague label.
Are you a collector at all? I mean, are you into vinyl or box sets or any of that kind of stuff?
I should be. I'm bad at that. I just bought a bunch of vinyl. I got a record player. I have no idea how to use it. So like my records are just sitting because I accidentally bought like those weird Bluetooth ones, not just like a classic normal, just like press play.
Oh, okay.
So it's been giving me nightmares. Like I hate it. I hate it so much, but I'm trying to connect with it and learn it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, if I was nearby, I'd help you out. I'm actually pretty good with that stuff, but I'm really far away.
I'm like, I need a boomer or an Xer in my vicinity to help.
Yeah. You check out burningshed.com. It's in England, but they have all sorts of Prague stuff, new stuff, re-releases, box sets. It's all very Prague related. They usually send you an email once a week just to say, okay, here's what's new, or here's what's coming up, or here's what's back in stock.
Back in stock. Yeah, I would love that. I am looking for vintage, like Gentle Giant records. Because I haven't found at any record store they have old Jethro Tull, like no Gentle Giant at all.
I'm glad to see you in such good spirits. Glad to see you on Instagram being your beautiful kind of weird self.
Thank you. I know I'm back, guys.
Excellent.
It's great.
And let us know when your record does come out.
No, I will. I'm doing a single just for now, but I'll let you know what's going on.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Autumn, please stay in touch with us. And thanks so much for sharing this story. I don't know if we'll ever hear another one quite like it. And we get members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on that tell great stories, but nothing quite like this. So that's a lot of fun. That's pretty cool.
I love that. No, thank you guys. I always have a great time talking with you guys. You're the best.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, love. Be cool and keep being you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed our chat with Autumn Whitaker on her time in the Capitol for the We Are One concert, featuring legends like Bruce Springsteen and U2 and James Taylor and many other rock and roll legends and performers from over the years. We just like talking to Autumn. She has a free, fun spirit about her. She loves prog music. She loves a lot of different kinds of classic rock. She's a musician in her own right, and I always love to hear musicians' takes on certain events. And with the election finally coming to an end, I thought it might be fun to tell an election-related story. It doesn't matter who won or lost or which side you're on. I think everyone's just glad that it's over, and we can get back to what's important, which is keeping rock alive. And Autumn's doing her bit. What are you doing for it? Well, I know Jackson and I are going to continue to do our show and do it the best that we can for you. So we want to know, folks, did we get something wrong? Did we do something right? Did we miss the point? Did we leave out your favorite part? Email us and let us know. It's uglyamericanwerewolf@gmail.com. Let us know the bands, the concerts, the events, the albums, the books, the rock properties you want to hear us talk about here on the show. Thanks, as always, to Pantheon Podcast for making us part of the family. And thanks to our sponsor, rarevinyl.com, where if you use the code UGLY, you can save 10% off one entire order. Do it now before the holidays. Your friends and family and your record collection will thank you. That's it for now. We do have some more guests coming up before the end of the year, some more fun to be had, so please stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe and download wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're thinking about it, guys, hey, please go out and give us a 5-star review. It just helps us grow the show, helps us find more rock and rollers like you. That's it. We're out. And until next time, to all you rock and rollers all around the world, be cool and keep doing what you do to keep rock alive.